SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Learn, leap, and lead.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Future Career Conversations webinar series presented by the Hindu and SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Today's session is on Pharma 2030 Innovation, Regulation, and the Rise of India. And today we explore India's position in the global pharma landscape, the evolving regulatory environment, the role of biotechnology and research, and the gaps between industry and academia. We have a panel of experts with us today to share their insights. We have Dr. S. Vincent, Member Secretary, Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology. We have Dr. Vasan Samandamurthy, Senior Vice President, Strategy and Global Operations, Bergworks Research Inc. Dr. V. Chitra, Dean, Professor and Head, Department of Pharmacology, SRM College of Pharmacy, SRM Institute of Science and Technology. And we have Dr. N. Damodaran, Vice Principal, Professor, Head and Department of Pharmaceuticals, SRM College of Pharmacy, SRM Institute of Science and Technology. Welcome, doctors. Also, a warm welcome to all our viewers. Kindly drop your questions in the chat. We'll be taking them towards the end of the session. We shall now begin the webinar. I invite our first speaker, Dr. S. Vincent. A brief introduction about Dr. Vincent before we start. Dr. Vincent is the Member Secretary of the Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology and a distinguished academician with extensive contributions to scientific research, policy, and innovation ecosystems. His work has played a key role in shaping science and technology policy in Tamil Nadu, promoting intellectual property rights, and strengthening research and innovation across institutions. He has also contributed to national initiatives in public health, environmental management, and interdisciplinary research. He will be setting the stage with insights on government initiatives, policy direction, and the broader research landscape. Over to you, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Ms. Andra, and the dynamic coordinator of the event, Ms. Priya, an eminent fellow panelist, Dr. Chitra, Dr. Damodaran, Dr. Vasan, very distinguished participants from academia, industry, and research institution. I thank the organizer, especially the Hindu and SRM University, for creating such a wonderful platform to discuss on the status of pharma industry in our country. And especially if you could see the topic, the Pharma 2030, it is a very unique policy of Government of India, and it's also giving a great shift. In the previous policy, it is the motto, sick to care. But in this 2030 pharma policy, it wellness to care. So it's going to be a very great shift. And I'm very happy that this kind of topic should be discussed in such a wonderful forum and pan-India. And our country, because of the wonderful policy and as well as the R&D center and collaboration of industry, academic institution, and with the physician, we really made a wonderful achievement. That's the reason our country to be called pharmacy of the world. To earn this, so many efforts are into this process, because today our country is also very top as a top tier drug manufacturer and exporter. And here the success story is again making us very happy that we are keeping our positioned ourselves third rank in pharmaceutical production. Similarly, we are also earning so much, and that's what we call as by value, and we are in 11th position in the whole world. And above all, 20% of our global generic drug is from India to the world. And pharmaceutical export in the year 24-25, and we have really made $30.5 million US. And more than that, the very interesting point again, it reaching 190 country. And from this, we understand how the pharma policy of our country, with the greatest support of different stakeholders, reached to that level. And another important point to remember today, 50% of Africa generic requirement and 40% of US generic requirement is met by our country. So that extent, we have grown up to greatly. And we are also enjoying another leadership in vaccine production. And 60% of the world vaccine is made in our country. And it is also very interesting. In fact, we are serving greatly to the UNICEF and WHO. For example, in UNICEF, the 60% of the vaccine goes from our country. And the World Health Organization also getting the support of our country, and especially 90% of the measles vaccine goes from us. And similarly, the United States is having 650 US FDA compliant manufacturer plant in our country. So that's the reason we are really providing greater support to the world and to manufacture the drugs, and it is really taking care of many people. And interestingly, Tamil Nadu also standing top. And especially Tamil Nadu is very often to be called health capital of India because of the infrastructure, the practice, and apart from this, the medical tourism is popular in our state. So that's the reason now Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology is taking great effort to bring a medical biohub. Because when you bring this medical biohub, and we can contribute tremendously to the nation, to the world, in order to develop very important drugs and for various diseases. Though it is an achievement of our country, but still we could see the government also working towards it and to identify the gap area. If you take in pharma, there are 4 important things which you could see that. That is therapeutic, vaccine, diagnostic, and medical device. And it's all happening because of the very innovative approach in terms of patent protection. So our country now standing top, and in fact, we are getting the 38th place in the whole world and in patent filing. And here I should say as a member secretary, Tamil Nadu is standing number 1 in patent filing. And because of that, and we are going to have many more and wonderful things like vaccine, diagnostic, medical devices, and therapeutic, and as it goes, and we may contribute tremendously. And we also understand another gap. One side disease burden, and other side the kind of technology development. So now we should really work to earn the glory of this world by serving the people and developing the technology in terms of that. So that's the reason this kind of event is going to be very, very useful to understand our strength. And more than that, the biotechnology. You cannot separate the pharma, biotechnology, and bioinformatics. So the biotechnology also tremendously contributing, and where now we have a startup ecosystem is going very well. We have 11,800 biotech startup, and we have global capability center, and that also working very well. And we have 150 life science global capability center, which is strengthening our pharma sector very well. And above all, the recent biotechnology policy of Government of India, BioE3 policy, is going to be an outstanding, and where we are going to take many things from lab to the market. So as state goes, and we will be doing greatly so that we will be achieving many more things. And in this context, I request the youth, and especially the youth, can learn many things from, and lot of opportunities are available. And I'm confident Dr. Chitra and Thamodaran and Watson will enlighten you the avenue available to you. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for setting the context and explaining in detail.
Thank you.
Next, it is my honor to invite Dr. Vasan Samandamurthy. He is a Senior Vice President of Strategy and Global Operations at Bugwork Research, where he leads efforts in developing novel antibiotics and immunotherapies addressing critical global health challenges such as antimicrobial resistance and cancer. With over 2 decades of experience, he has led leadership roles at global organizations contributing to vaccine discovery and drug development across multiple therapeutic areas. He has also served as CEO of the TBT Wellcome Trust Alliance and continues to contribute to policy and advocacy through his roles in leading biotech organizations. He will be speaking on regulatory frameworks, the role of regulatory bodies, and perspectives from the biotech sector. Over to you, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Athira, for the wonderful introduction. Good morning to all participants. And it's an honor and privilege to be with my fellow co-panelists. Thank you, Dr. Vincent, for setting the context in terms of where we are heading towards. So I would just like to reiterate a few points here in terms of we as a pharmacy of the world, the time is ripe for us to have a structural reset. We need to move from a volume-based model to a value-driven one. Let's quickly look at what are the figures here, right? We heard about how we are the pharmacy of the world in generics as well as in vaccines. For the amount of wealth, the amount of infrastructure we have, we are really undervalued. We're only at 65 billion. So the aim is now by 2030 to move to 450 billion in the next by 2047. So the industry is at a crossroad. It must transition from a volume-driven model to a value-driven one. And we need to reimagine and think, how do we move from a make in India mindset to develop in India mindset? Let's look at why is it that we need to move out of this zone? The traditional volume-based model has certain vulnerabilities. For example, the first one is the active pharmaceutical ingredient. We are heavily dependent on imports. And we have seen recently, especially during the pandemic in 2020, as well as with the current geopolitical storms we are undergoing. So this really puts a lot of over-dependence on imports, and it puts a lot of pressure in terms of vulnerability to our market. Secondly, the market economics. So the generic space market work on very, very tight price pressure. And this, in fact, really hurts the industry big time when there is a problem in terms of supply versus demand. And similarly, if you really look at the global value distribution in terms of where are we as a country in terms of the innovation, our representation as of now is very, very tiny. So again, the bottom line is, how do we move from a volume to value and move from making it to develop in India? Let's look at what would it come a generic power to build on volume, efficiency, affordability, and global reach. We heard from Dr. Vincent. Whereas if we have to move into the innovation powerhouse, we need to focus on discovery, strengthening our science, our education. The new education policy is really primed to bring in more change in the mindset in terms of curriculum and in terms of opportunities for students. We need to really think about how do we differentiate ourselves from the rest of the world in terms of developing new products. And the third aspect is, how do we use a creative mindset to generate IP? Intellectual property is the bedrock for innovation. And how do we strengthen the pillar of IP? And the third one is in terms of, there are a few examples that are emerging from India where we have moved from generics to being a leader in terms of enabling affordable access to cell and gene therapy. There are a few examples. So why does this matter? Why does this transition matter? Because for patients in India who have a huge disease burden, we need better access to newer therapies. We cannot wait for 20 to 30 years till a novel therapy goes out of patent and then it becomes available via generic manufacturing. So clearly access to future cures. At the same time, for the industry, it's a huge plus in terms of scale, in terms of higher value for the industry. And for India, we definitely can move and establish ourselves as a leader. We have seen it during the pandemic how India played a significant role in enabling access to life-saving therapies and vaccines to multiple countries across the world. So here is a time is right for India to move from a generics leader to an innovation leader. We heard about the schemes are just trying to quickly transition generic mindset to innovation. Research and innovation is education, and most importantly, finance. What has played the indirect capital to really do development. So the billion features which the government is spearheading in terms of enabling the availability of risk capital for innovators. Second one is strategic manufacturing, right? There is what is called a production linked incentive for pharmaceuticals as well as for bulk drugs. So clearly creating clusters where manufacturers can set up base, the government provides all the necessary infrastructure and approvals and all the policies required so that they can start moving into the zone. The third one is infrastructure and clusters. And we heard a few examples in terms of each and every state is now setting up centers of excellence for biotechnology, pharmaceutical innovation. So this whole thing, all the three pillars coming together is really going to help us build a strong pipeline of high value pharma innovation. And moving on to the most critical part, right? So it's very important that success innovation will not only depend on science. We also need enabling policy. We saw on the previous slide. And we also need regulatory preparedness. Currently, the regulatory market is very fragmented. For an innovator like Bugworks, to take a product from India to the global markets requires us to go and file our final dossier into multiple markets, which is going to take a lot of effort and a lot of manpower. And we also need clear pathways in terms of how do we take a novel product, cell and gene therapy or gene therapy products across. We also need good policies on clinical and ethical clearances. How do we quickly move across and be able to start a trial across India, multiple sites? And most important is to really build credibility and visibility in terms of a compliance, in terms of GMP evaluation and the CMC readiness. CMC stands for chemistry, manufacturing, and controls. And how do we strengthen our documentation and data compliance? And also, most importantly, once a product is launched, it's important to do very active post-market surveillance in terms of safety monitoring. So currently, the timelines are long, the costs of development are very high, and there is a need to harmonize across the global regulatory bodies. And where are we? Dr. Vincent spoke about India's 2030 bioeconomy vision. Where are we today? There are already references, structured regulatory pathways like the US FDA and EMA, and they have timelines and global benchmarks. Where India is heading is a better alignment is happening. We're really looking at how do we move in biohub. And what India must scale, some of the key elements is regulation. We are in the process. It needs to be accelerated. Clinical translation. How do we really leverage the huge population and the patient load we have in India to really bring in innovative products, homegrown products for India and to the globe? And most importantly, the capital, we spoke about that. The talent is all the students here who are part of this webinar. We really need them to be creative and given the right opportunity in terms of training and being employability ready. And then most important is the manufacturing infrastructure. So with that, I will pause here and hand it over to our next speaker, Dr. Chitra. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. So we shall move to our next speaker, Dr. V. Chitra. I would like to introduce Dr. V. Chitra. She is the Dean and Professor and Head of Department of Pharmacology at SRM College of Pharmacy with over 25 years of experience in teaching, research, and academic leadership. Her work focuses on neuroscience, metabolic disorders, and translational pharmaceutical research. She has guided numerous research scholars, secured significant funded projects, and authored over 150 publications in reputed journals, reflecting her strong research impact and industry collaboration. She will be speaking on academia, including collaboration gaps, research challenges, and opportunities for strengthening partnerships. Please go ahead, Dr.
Thank you, Ms. Athira, for the excellent introduction. And thanks to the panelists who have spoken before me, Dr. Vincent and Dr. The previous speaker, Vasan sir, for setting up the tone for today's topic, Pharma 20, Innovation, Regulation and Rise in India. So in this, I have selected the industry academia collaboration gaps. So owing my long-term existence in the academic field, so I just wanted to take up this topic of industry, academia and collaboration. So respected dignitaries, participants, esteemed faculty members and distinguished panelists, and dear participants, warm wishes and the special appreciations to the Hindu and SRMIST for conducting this thoughtful webinar at the time of need. As we said, so the collaboration gap, the future of this healthcare cannot be built in isolation. It should be built through collaboration, innovation, and shared vision. So it is with this thought I stand before you today to reflect on an important theme: advancing pharmacy academia through stronger collaboration, enhanced research, and meaningful partnerships. So pharmacy education today is no longer confined to classrooms and laboratories. It has evolved into a dynamic ecosystem that directly influences on patient care, drug development, and public health outcomes. So our institutions like SRM, we are not just centers of knowledge, we are engines of innovation and catalysts of change. In today's interconnected world, collaboration is not an option, it's a necessity. Pharmacy institutions, we are increasingly embracing interdisciplinary engagement, working alongside fields such as medicine, biotechnology, and data science. And these stronger engagement with industry and healthcare institution is enriching the academic learning, also influences upon the student outcomes. As the students are gaining practical exposure and our faculty are exploring the real world challenges. And we are expanding the national and international partnerships, which is also fostering the knowledge exchange and global perspective. Together, these efforts are shaping a more integrated and a future-ready academic environment. And first, we shall recognize the scale of what India has already achieved. These informations are already shared by our previous panelists. Like 20% of the global generic medicine supply is from India, and 60% of the global vaccines India is a major contributor. And that is why India is called as the pharmacy capital of the world. The pharmaceutical sector supports about through the supply of medicines. 2.7 million livelihoods are being supported, and significantly it is contributing to the national GDP. And looking ahead, as Vasan sir has already shared, Indian pharma's market is projected to grow about $120 to $130 million by 2030 and even more by 2047. So let us start with the vision of 2030. And even it's an amazing growth, and it is not just a growth, it's a global influence. And when we talk more about these, the growth of the pharmaceutical industries, then why we are worrying about this gap? So despite all these developments and the improvements in the pharmaceutical companies, yet a gap is existing between the academia and the industry. So India being a global manufacturing leader, but it is emerging, it's an emerging field only in the drug discovery and innovation. So we are good manufacturers, but we are lacking some sense in the drug discovery and innovations. Universities, we are producing graduates, and the industry still reports that there are some skill gaps in the employability. And research is published, but there is a limited translation into patents and commercialization. And my belief is this is where the industry academia disconnect is becoming very evident. And I can categorize that into 4 factors. So first might be the rising disease burden. So as informed by the previous panelists that India has become the diabetic capital of the world. So the anti-diabetic drug market alone shows about 13% of annual growth, reflecting chronic diseases rising annually. And already we are the capital of the diabetic capital, and again India has become a hub for the cardiac, oncology, and lifestyle disease therapies. So these diseases demands research-driven solutions and not just a manufacturing of the medicines. And therefore, there needs a shift towards a complex therapies, since we have a complex of the non-communicable disorders, metabolic disorders, and where the serious research is going on in our university too. Indian companies have started now focusing on biosimilars, biologics, and antibody drug conjugates. When we focus towards the complex therapies, so they need a deep research collaboration with academia for a small scale production. And the next is regarding the digital transformation of the pharma, where we can say about the rising of the e-pharmacies and digital healthcare platforms, which is reshaping access and delivery to the medicines. And so there is a necessity that the curriculum must integrate into artificial intelligence, digital health, and data science. And the next factor will be the global competitiveness. So India is the third largest producer by volume globally. And but this competition is increasing again in the manufacturing is production is third largest. But the competition is increasing in innovation, regulatory complaints, and high value drugs. So the future leadership depends upon the innovation ecosystems and not just the production alone. So the vision 2030 we have set is an integrated ecosystem. This is the vision for the 2030 for the academia, universities like us. So my factors will be supporting the co-creation of curriculum. First will be by 2030. So these are all by 2030. I think 50% has happened in 2026 also. Industry must co-design at least 30 to 40% of the pharmacy curriculum. So that is one of the factors. But already our Pharmacy Council of India has implemented and has released a new syllabus for the B Pharmacy to be followed from 2026 onwards. I would say the students are so lucky to study those syllabus. What all the integrations, what we are saying about it is almost covered in the syllabus, where they had sought the experts' advice from industry and senior academicians. And we are now having a wonderful syllabus which is integrating AI in drug discovery, pharmacogenomics, personalized medicine, regulatory science, and digital therapeutics in an undergraduate level. Of course, we all had this, except this AI in the previous syllabus, but that was a course-related one. Now the undergraduate students will have these exposures. And next will be the translational research, as Dr. Vincent has said, from lab to market. So India must shift from publish or perish concept to patent and prosper. So that was a major thing what we need to finalize. And also we need industry funded research centers, that is a sponsored labs in each and every bigger institutions, and startup incubators in the pharmacy institutions. SRMIST has a good startup incubator, and the Directorate of Entrepreneurship and Innovation is doing the job very fine, and strong technology transfer ecosystems. And faculty sabbaticals. Faculty should be given a sabbatical leave to attend in the pharmacy industries. They should stay for it. And industry experts to be appointed as professors of practice, and joint supervision of the PhD scholars. So I think all these categories are already in practice with SRMIST. And skill-based workforce development. So that is a need for the students. Like the industry expectations are GMP, GLP, and the regulatory complaints and clinical research expertise. GMP, GLP regulatory complaints will be handled over by the regulatory affairs students, and clinical research expertise will be the key area for the PharmD students, and real-time problem solving will be the experts from the pharmaceutics and pharmaceutical analysis and pharmacology subjects will be handling it over. So by 2030, employability must be the primary outcome of education, and we need not go for any additional skills for this. And all, as per the policy support, I can say India is already ready with the policy, And as Dr. Vincent sir has shared, government initiatives have already provided momentum, PLI schemes for pharma manufacturing, and push for Atmanirbhar Bharat in APIs, and NEP 2020 promoting multidisciplinary and skill-based education, so which is already there in the curriculum now. And now all these there in our hand. So now the execution is waiting. So now the execution must match the ambition. And we are also supplying over 80% of the global HIV antiretroviral drugs, transforming the global healthcare access. So our companies are expanding globally, and there is a rapid growth in biosimilars and specialty drugs, so which indicates a shift towards from production to innovation. So these are the signals of what India can become if partnerships are strengthened. So how do we measure the success by 2030 as we have set the goal? Let us redefine the success by not alone the degrees, but the students' employment, and not only with the papers, but the patents commercialized and the life which has been improved, lifestyles have been improved. So a call to action in the sense that our industries must invest in academia, thereby the gaps can be filled in somewhat, as because it is a strategic necessity. And academia also must align with industry, but it should be taken as an evolution, because the future pharmacist is not going to be just a dispenser of drugs. They are going to be a scientist, innovator, entrepreneur, and a healthcare leader. So India has already become the pharmacy of the world, but by 2030, let us aim higher to become the innovation engine of the world. And that journey will not be built in isolation. It will be built where academia and industry stop working apart and start growing together. So thank you so much for the opportunity provided, and thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much for your presentation. We now move to our final speaker, Dr. N. Damodaran. Dr. Damodaran is a Vice Principal and Professor and Head of the Department of Pharmaceutics at SRM College of Pharmacy. His expertise lies in pharmaceutics, novel drug delivery systems, and advanced technologies such as nanotechnology-based and transdermal drug delivery. He has played a key role in mentoring researchers in advancing pharmaceutical innovation, particularly in emerging areas of drug formulation and delivery systems. He'll be presenting the industry perspective, focusing on pharma trends, innovation, and future directions. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Adira, for introduction. And good afternoon, my fellow panelists, for adding your values on Pharma 2030, innovation, regulation, and the rise of India. To begin with, every third tablet consumed in the United States, every second vaccine administered in the developing world has a silent origin, that is India. Yet, despite powering the global healthcare, India captures only the fraction of the value it creates. We are third in the volume, but 11th in the value. So now the need of the hour, can India supply the world? Yes, we can supply the world. But whether we can lead the world in innovation, that's a question mark. So what are the steps to be taken? And what are the current realities we are now? We are supplying 20% of generic. We are supplying more than 50% of the global vaccine demand. And we are supplying 40% of the generic demand of the United States of America, 25% of the medicine, all medicines required by the United Kingdom. And we are supplying 80 to 90% of medicine which are needed in the Africa. This huge industry can be done. We have more than 3,000 companies and 10,500 manufacturing units. We are specialized in 60,000 generic brands across 60 therapeutic category. We are projected to grow by 130 billion in the year 2030 with generics. And before this, we should know what is the difference between the biologicals, biosimilars, and generics. Generics is the one we do it after the expiry of the patent after 20 years. We do for chemical synthesis. Biological is an innovator product which is produced from the live cells, example monoclonal antibodies. And biosimilars are almost similar to biologicals, but not 100% identical. India is now expert in generics. We are developing in biosimilars. but we want to produce an innovative products in biologicals so that we will stand tall in the globe. India dominates the volume, but not the value. So this is where we are lagging. Now I want to add a scenario for the active pharmaceutical ingredients, which has been produced in the industries. We are the world third largest active pharmaceutical ingredients producers. I would like to say what are the companies which are available in India. Divi's Laboratories is holding the world largest active pharmaceutical industry facilities in Visakhapatnam, followed by Dr. Reddy's and Lupin and Sun Pharma. Before COVID-19, we are dependent on China, but the government of India has taken initiatives, self-reliance, and we have focused our shift from generic production to API. And thereby we have a lot of API industries which are coming in India. 57% of the WHO pre-qualified APIs are produced only from India. What is the problem in API manufacturing? Effluent treatment and environmental clearance. That is a major hurdle, and India is trying to overcome that. In spite of all those things, we are dependent on China. Why you are dependent on China? China is giving the key starting materials for these productions and advanced intermediaries. We have to come out of that junk. This key starting material, still we are depending on China. That is where the Indian government is pushing the our pharmaceutical companies, and they are giving some incentives to produce this API. Production linked incentives has been given. Now, I want to add, what is the role of CDSCO? Central Drug Standard Control Organization is actually trying to shift India's pharmaceutical industry from generics-led foundation to innovation-led ecosystem. This is what we are required now. By 2030, we should go for innovative product. So what are the steps taken by the CDSCO to promote this innovation? They are transformed completely digitally. Their portal, Sugam portal enhancement, is updating its digital platform to create a more user-friendly interface, allowing the manufacturers to submit the application, track their approvals, and manage license in real time. CDSCO aims to respond to new drug application within 90 working days. Moving towards a completely digital environment as to reduce the procedure bottlenecks and enhance the transparency. So this is what CDSCO has done to promote the innovators, new product NDA application, ANDA, and within 90 days they are responding. How they are promoting the innovation and R&D? They are given for a fast track approvals. They are parallel processing with WHO GMP, and specialized framework is being given especially for the advanced therapies like gene therapy and cell-based therapy. A special treatment is given. And we are also giving production linked incentives, especially for the bulk drugs and APIs and for the key starting materials. We are welcoming them and we are giving them the production linked incentives. Also, we are assisting MSMEs, that is micro, small and medium enterprise, to upgrade their facilities and to align with the revised Schedule M, which was framed in the 2023 to meet the global standards. Also, we kept regular meetings. CDSCO was keeping regular meeting with the companies to understand, to clarify, so that the unnecessary delay is reduced and prevent the scientific objection. And also, CDSC is also keeping regular meeting with IPA and IDMEA to understand the operational challenges and streamline the regulatory framework. And we are also strengthening the quality with WHO GMP and international collaboration with US FDA and EMA. These are all enhancing the company to go for some innovative product. Earlier, there was a lot of small minor mistakes which was coming under the criminal offense. Now they are all decriminalized, which is not affecting the patient or whatever it is, so that it will encourage the company to go for some R&Ds and all those things. Now you see there are some key trends in the pharma industries. Some regulatory landscape is being changed. They are shifting industry dynamics. We have digital backbone transformation. All those things are fine. But what about the skill set of the laborers and the workers who are working in the industries? They have to be completely reformed. They have to adapt to the new emerging skills. These are some of the solutions for the problems what we are facing. We have to develop a talent pipeline for the future. We have to recruit the people from the abroad or wherever it is in India. An investment should be made in training and capacity building. These are some of the steps to be taken for our existing workers. And as previously Dean Ma'am said, that that the new Pharmacy Council of India has given a new regulation that is going to enable the students to meet the industrial needs. So the syllabus is completely revamped. And what is the innovation? How the innovation can be improved in India? What are all the steps taken to improve the innovation? The government and industry have adopted a multifaceted approach focusing on funding, regulatory reforms, and infrastructural development. In case of dedicated funding, I would like to say promotion of research and innovation in pharma medtech scheme, where it was launched with 5,000 crores budget to strengthen the research infrastructure, promote the industry academia collaboration, and support the R&D in priority areas like new chemical entities, biosimilars, and complex generics. Production linked incentives with an outlay of 1.97 lakh crores for various sectors, including pharmaceuticals. PLI schemes encourage the manufacturing of high value goods, APIs, and critical starting materials. And Biopharma Shakti scheme, it was proposed in the 2026-27 Union budget with an outlay of 10,000 crores to strengthen the biologicals and biosimilars. And BIRAC-led set, Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, supports the startup grants with 50 lakhs. And we have 95 plus established centers like this. And coming to the regulatory policy, the recently done the Schedule M revision, it has taken our Indian manufacturing products with the global standards. We can compete with the globals. And industry academic collaboration, I would like to say that we have Center of Excellence, NIPER, 7 NIPER Institute has been created in India, and it has been upgraded to world-class research hubs to attract the talent and produce a skilled workforce. And there is a program called Genome India program, a government-backed program aimed to sequencing 10,000 Indian genomes to boost the drug research for Indian-specific ailments. We have adopted artificial intelligent drug discovery, which has reduced the new drugs finding by 15 to 20 years. It has reduced to 6 to 7 years. Earlier, we have to spend around 20 years and spend 1 billion. And now this AI-driven drug discovery has reduced the new findings with 6 to 7 years. And also we are improving in continuous manufacturing and 3D printing. And one thing I'd like to add is blockchain for traceability. This is a pilot project which was launched by the Pharmaceuticals and Medical Device Bureau of India to use the blockchain for tracking the drugs to prevent the counterfeits. And we are focusing on emerging areas in biosimilars and biologicals, cell and gene therapy. So these are some of the initiatives and steps taken to add up the innovation and to target the 2030. Now, let us see what is the R&D amount spent by the Indian pharma when compared to the global scenario. Our Indian pharmaceutical companies are roughly spending 4 to 7% of their revenue for R&D when compared to the global, which is like Novartis and Merck spend 15 to 20%. You can see the wide gap between the amount spent by the Indian pharmaceutical company when compared to the global. And this is the area we are lacking. So the Indian pharmaceutical company should pump in more money so that we can also be an innovator and we can lead the world. Some of the spendings by the Indian companies like Sun Pharma has spent 2,400 crores for R&D, Dr. Reddy's laboratory around 2,000 crores, Cipla around 1,400. These are some of the things that our companies are also improving in innovation and R&D. And what is the outcome of all those things? How India is only doing the generics? And haven't we found any new drugs? Yes, we have found. Nafithromycin, marketed under the brand name Mikinaf, is a novel indigenous antibiotic developed in India to treat serious respiratory infection. And what is the milestone? It was developed by Vocard Limited in collaboration with BIRAC, and it was the first new antibiotic in its class to be introduced globally in the over 30 years. And this does not come in one day. They have done more than 14 years of research and global clinical trials. And finally, it was regulatorily approved by CDSCO in the early 2025. So now we have there is a light at the end of the tunnel that Indian companies also can produce the drugs, innovative drugs. And we can see some of the drugs which has been in the pipeline, which has been released by Dr. Reddy's laboratory. Tegoprazan was one of the things. It is a novel potassium acid blocker used for GERD, and Hedronolfide is produced by Intas Pharmaceuticals. And there are so many drugs which has come out. And I'm happy to end that India has already ensured that world can afford medicines But the next challenge is to ensure that world depends on India for innovation. By 2030, India will not just be the pharmacy of the world, it will be the brain behind the global healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. We have pretty much covered everything. I can already see questions in the chat box. I will take them one by one. Some of these questions have already been covered, but I'll combine a few and take. So there is a question asking what specific technical skills are currently missing in graduates entering pharma and biotech roles. Shall we take that?
Yes, ma'am.
So when we take up the employability skills, I believe that the students, they have their interest only in completing the courses and getting good grades. But apart from that, they lack or they don't have an idea about the soft skill development and the employability skills what the student should have by attending certain courses, additional courses, and then these skills they need to adapt it for sure before going for any employability. Because as I said, there is always existing a gap between the academia and the industry. So we are much more theoretically oriented, and the industry needs practical oriented skills. So when they wanted to get a good employability, they should get their access towards industries and in going with internships, attending internships with the industries, and they should have industrial visits so that the institute should support them. And also it is their personal responsibility also to acquire the skills whatever they need, personality development, communication skills, and the adaptability to the particular environment, everything is needed. So what we hear from the industry side, that is, I'm just telling that as an advice to the to whomever they have asked this question.
Yes, doctor, please.
See, the very important aspect which I want to communicate in terms of the techniques. For example, during COVID, the people learned PCR. They all got great demand. But unfortunately, we didn't give proper training to our youth or academic. Now, another beautiful technology, if you want to really deal with pharma, biotechnology, and bioinformatics, there's going to be a wonderful technique called CRISPR. So the CRISPR technology is very, very important and to deal with gene editing. Today, the country is needed more technique and technician on CRISPR technology to edit gene, because it's going to be future technology where we can solve many problems. So I request, and especially the student research scholar, please thorough with one wonderful technology like CRISPR so that you can deal with genetic and editing process. But even today we need more people. But unfortunately, there's no much training is provided to our people. I think now the even academic institutions also should know, and this kind of, and even Tamil Nadu State Council supporting some of the workshop on CRISPR technology in order to prepare the youth to avail the job opportunities coming from pharmacology. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Any more to add? Shall we move to the next question? We have a follow-up to that asking what are some underexplored but high-growth career paths in pharma, such as regulatory science, pharmacovigilance, or clinical data management. Shall we take that?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Dr. Damodaran.
Yeah, based on this question, the students should be well versed in their biology and interdisciplinary. They should be good in the regulatory. They should be good in the now computers, artificial intelligence driven drug discovery. So they need to learn these capacities. The industry is expecting to be the multifaceted rather than be with single alliance. So the student who is a job seeker should have the 360-degree knowledge in drug discovery, or whatever it is. So for this, as Madam said, they can go for, so there are some courses and apart from B Pharmacy, they can add their value and by attending the conference, international conference, and attending the workshops and the degree course, certificate course. So all those things will add them the value to face the interview. That's it from my side. What do you, Dr. Vasan?
Thank you. Thank you. If I may just add, most important thing is practical skill, right? I come from the industry side, been in academia as well. So what we look for in industry is someone who is really employable, who comes with hands-on skill, right? Has a good understanding of the subject, theoretical knowledge, as well as practical hands-on skill. So what I would encourage students is to sign up for internships during the summer times, spend at least 2 to 3 months or more than a month and multiple places during the 4 or 5 year course, the course duration. That really gives you a flavor of what does it take to really start translating what you have learned theoretically into a lab work, into asking a question and delivering data which can support progression. So I think it's very important to look out for those opportunities. We are a big country, a lot of students, but every government has created specialized training programs, summer internship, plus industry is also open. So best is to do networking. I think very important to network well with people in academia and industry. Second thing is soft skills, as Dr. Chitra said. And third most important is the practical hands-on skill.
Thank you, Doctor. Any more to add, or shall we move to the next question? We have a student asking us, as a pharma student, what specific skills should I start building now to stay relevant in Pharma 2030, especially with the rise of AI and data research?
It's again regarding the immersion of the artificial intelligence. See, if the student is going to have started as pharmacy career now, as a pharmacy profession now, so the student needs to go for specialized certified courses from some reputed organizations. The student needs to, because now we have many organizations like with the labels of artificial intelligence, and many courses and many institutions are running it. But we need to see about the credibility of the institute, whichever is organizing or whichever is getting this course running. And we have to see about the credits and the topics, whatever the courses have. And based upon that, the student should select a good certificate course, whether it is going to give them or to impart them any skill over. So that is the basic need what the student should acquire in the very first level. So then they need to, because in the present PCA syllabus, we have Python programming from the first year onwards. So that is where the skill set is required. So once they go through the syllabus, they will come to know like what is important. I think the immersion of the AI is very, very important, and they also can switch into digital healthcare units.
Maybe if I can come in here, right? So a strong foundation in basic biology, or any particular discipline cannot be basic courses. AI can be an accentuator, and it can help you to ask better questions and help you to accelerate your thought process. So my recommendation would be that students build deep knowledge, because to stay in the field, we are not talking about 1 or 2 years, right? New discoveries keep coming, new technologies coming. But what will really carry you forward in your career of 20, 30, 40 years would be a strong foundation in your basic program, whatever you are signed up for. Yeah.
So I advocate research, especially PhD program in computational biology, because this field is going to revolutionize and support in terms of the drug discovery, and as well as even to speed up the drug development. So we need more researcher. So that's why I advocate the PhD program in computational biology.
Yeah, I would like to add the very first step in HR round is that communication skills. And we find that most of the students, though they have talents, they are not able to express themselves. So the communication skills should be improved. And next comes the knowledge. They can go NPTEL course and they can attend the workshops to get hands-on training as said by the sir. So all these skills will definitely land them a job. This is my suggestion.
Thank you, Doctor. So there is a follow-up question to that asking how should students evaluate whether a research opportunity or lab is actually worth joining? Like what are the parameters they need to keep in mind?
As of my knowledge, ma'am, so whenever they wanted to apply for any institute for research, I think every information is available in the web. They can go through the facilities, whatever is available, whether it is going to align with their research area and the key areas of research, whatever the individual is pursuing or is aiming to do, it is matching with the research interest of that particular university or any other department in specific is doing it. And they can go through the publications which is coming out of the institute. In that way, they can go and select an institute or a particular guide. If they wanted to go for really a research career, if they wanted to pursue, I think this would be the better option.
And my
Thank
point
you,
is that,
Yes, please, Doctor.
as Madam said, that research organization, the student should be sound enough to know what is the industrial requirement and whether the research carried out in this organization is able to meet the industrial needs, it's aligning with the industrial needs. So once he does the research, he'll be able to land the job in the industry. That's it.
Thank you, Doctor. We have similar questions. We've already covered this, but I still would like to take this one. For someone starting in academia, how easy it is to transition into industry later? As in, what gaps do they need to address?
Nowadays,
Okay.
most of the an institution, especially academic institution, now reoriented the curriculum. And obviously, an industry expert supposed to be incorporated. Even in the research, now there is a wonderful culture and how you are really and understanding the problem statement of an industry. So on base of it, and now there is a wonderful synergy mechanism which very much available in academic. I think the system itself well built, so there will not be any struggle. And now almost all academic institutions in the country realized, and there should be a synergy on all the time. And that's what now we call as outcome-based learning. So obviously, a student entering into any education institution, this process is inbuilt. So there is no fear for it.
Thank you,
Maybe
Doctor.
if I may add some points. Yeah. So
Yes.
the idea would be, I think networking is key, definitely, in terms of with access to so much of information readily now. It's important to connect via professional networks like LinkedIn, attending conferences where you can talk to people in different industries or biotechs. And then I think that really helps to understand if there is an opportunity.
Yeah, I would like to add the transition from the academia to industry. That was a question asked, and that how can the gap can be reduced? As Dr. Vasan said, that compulsory internship in the industry will expose them to the industrial atmosphere, and also the frequent industrial visits which we do arrange for the academia students. So it will give them some exposure to the industries, and these things can shorten the gap between the academia and the industry transition. That's it from us.
Okay, Doctor. We'll move into the next question. How is the demand shifting between core pharma roles and biotech-driven roles like immunotherapy and precision medicine? Shall we take that?
Yes.
Go ahead, or okay. So
Yeah.
both are essentially very, very close, right? So pharma, for example, the foundation is biology, a bit of chemistry, pharmacology, and one of the extension of that would be immunotherapy and other newer therapies that are emerging. So the idea is not to immediately think after undergraduate to become a super specialist. So it requires a stepwise progression. You qualify yourself in one particular area, then do a master's, if possible, and you have the inclination, do a PhD. And then you super specialize into a niche area like gene therapy or immunotherapy or something else, which requires many, many years of knowledge and hands-on experience to address certain questions. So question is to look at it in a graded manner, not to just jump straight away from an undergrad to a super specialty area, because it may feel a bit hollow without having the necessary training and exposure.
Yeah, I go with the Dr. Vashan. See, basically the student really read the fundamental of the science. It may be immunology or biotechnology, even if you take ecology. We have unique textbook available in the world. We should be thorough with this. And even if you take immunology, if you could read the textbook prescribed as in a universal way, the student should learn to read it. Though the information may be available in the internet and elsewhere, but it should be a culture. And they should have the textbook prescribed and exactly to the different discipline, even bioinformatics or biotechnology. Then I'm confident they themselves emerge as a great scientist of this country. So this is my humble and appeal to many students. Please start to read the textbook prescribed for it so that you will have a better understanding and fundamental basic aspects of any advanced science.
Thank you, Doctor. We have a question asking, what kind of career support does SRM provide in terms of placements, higher education guidance, or global opportunities?
So I wish to state that SRM College of Pharmacy and SRMIST is having collaborations with industries for the alumni places, for the placements, and our alumni are placed in good industries, leading pharmaceutical industries. We have a good network with them. Our alumni are supporting us, and we have a placement cell, so where they take up their placements as their primary responsibility. And we are responsible for about 70 to 80% of the placement drive, which is happening in the campus while the students complete their course and move on. And this is how we are supporting the placement drive of the students nationally and internationally. We have collaborations. Apart from the collaboration, the students also, through their alumni networking, they go and apply for the different universities in Canada, Australia, and US. Our PharmD graduates, mostly our PharmD graduates are having the exposure to the international universities, and they go for the MS courses, and even our pharmacy students also go for the MS courses. So these are all the areas where our students can go in for the placement, and our placement cell is also they are doing an excellent job in connecting people and placing people in the national and internationally for higher studies as well as for the placements.
Thank you, Doctor. We have a student asking, is pursuing PhD in India sufficient for global opportunities, or is international exposure becoming very essential?
I would like to add this. Indian PhD is highly respected all over the world. The findings are being published in international peer-reviewed papers. So those findings have been observed by the international community. And when they are going for postdoctoral fellowship, it will be really useful to them. Only thing is that they have to take the research to the global level. They have to publish their findings in international journals. In that way, they'll surely have the global connection, and they'll have that very good thing.
And India also blessed with many great institutions. And if you take even in our country, 42 CSR laboratory, and biotechnology has so many an autonomous organization. But if you could, the student prepare themselves towards it, And as Dr. Thamodaran rightly pointed out, even if you go to US and UK, and only our research scholars, after completing their degree, they are excelling themselves. And even I talked about gene editing. There are our Indian students are really shining like star in UK and US. So that's way, and people, especially students, should really understand the research in India is really doing well, but you should elevate yourself and learning many technique and as a tool to solve many problem after your PhD.
If I may add, right, choosing research as a career is a long-term commitment. It requires perseverance, persistence, and patience. Right? Cultivate it, build one block at a time, lay a strong foundation. Whether you do it in India or overseas, getting an international exposure actually really helps for you to open up, widen your horizon, and come up with some great ideas. And you can always come back to India because, as the other co-panelists have said, multiple opportunities are opening up in India, both in academia of higher learning as well as in industry. So the thought process is depending on your situation. It's a combination of financial, your professional background, and also with a lot of geopolitical tensions happening, getting a visa is turning out to be a huge challenge. So my suggestion is keep your options open. You can find good labs in India, do research, and keep trying to go abroad, spend a couple of years, and always come back. Right? It's all about being patient and building your foundation and strengthening it over the years.
Thank you, doctors. There is a question asking, not one actually, multiple questions. I'll combine into one. Which roles in pharma are often misunderstood or even overhyped by students today? Is one.
I will let the professors take a shot at this question.
Can you repeat this?
So there are multiple questions directing to the same, asking which roles in pharma are often misunderstood by students, like, or misinterpreted. I suppose that's what they mean. What, like, certain roles in pharma that are often misunderstood or maybe also overhyped.
Might be, I think the students are misunderstanding this medical representatives. Even that is the job that is not actually meant for a farmer, actually, because it is taken up by all the graduates. Those whomever have good communication skills, they can go up with it. So, from my students' perspective, I can say these jobs, wherever it says like an representative, they never go for it. So they said the caption is the caption of that whatever the job role is misleading. So we don't want to go for it. Or even a product analyst or product chemist. So where it can be handled over by a BSc chemistry or some other chemistry students or graduates also. So there they say they think like it has been misled or it is misunderstood. So that is the thing what I can know it from my students' perspective now. So because most of the students have come and they have told us or they have shared their feedback regarding this. So this is the way like the students would have misunderstood that. And it is happening also. They are not very much happy about the way like where they are not given the prime importance. Some other equal personalities are also coming and competing for the same job responsibility. So what they think is like, so this is not our profession specific job. So now we are losing interest for these specific, whenever there are job opportunities with these specific titles, our students hesitate to take it.
Thank you, doctor. Anything else to add, or shall we move to the? We are moving towards the end of the session, so I'll take maybe one more question. I would combine and give a gist of this. So there are many questions asking about what future-ready pharma professional should look like by 2030. I think we'll end with that because I think everything should come in that.
Future Ready Pharma 2030, I think I had given in my resume. We cannot end with the I'm a pharmacist, so I should be an innovator. I should be an formulation engineer. I should be an like a scientist. I should have a researcher. Like my colleague said, like it is a multifaceted personality. The expectation from the industry as well as from the nation is a pharmacy graduate should have multifaceted. The one of the reason is that our courses also designed like that. It's like an interdisciplinary because we do research not only in pharmacy. It is of chemistry, we have a formulation we touch, biotechnology we touch. So the industry expectations are different as we have pharmacy specializations. Whenever the students go out with these specializations, they are else as a B pharmacy graduate, they expect all in one. So 2030 expectations will be still higher when compared to the present scenario. That is my thing. That is, I have ended up my talk with that, like innovation, engineer, scientist, researcher, pharmacist, healthcare worker, everything like a bouquet of responsibilities.
If you want to make a very great success, Pharma 2030, there are few people we needed to expedite themselves. We need people, regulatory affairs specialists. And whatever course you do it, and especially in the pharma sector, but you should specialize to regulatory affairs specialist because even today, the country is needed more and expertise on it. Second, genomic data scientist. Now the whole world preparing or developing drug specifically to the individual. Because now whatever drugs which are available to us, it's on based of your weight. But now the country wants to be so specific to, that's called precision medicine, and for which we need genomic data scientist. The third very important aspect we should understand, as I already mentioned, that the CRISPR technician and cell gene therapy researcher. And fourth, the computational biologist and AI-driven drug discovery scientist. And this is it exactly we need to deal with the Pharma 2030. If any education institution or R&D institution provide or prepare the people towards it, and the Pharma 2030, and as Dr. Damodaran rightly pointed out, and we can really transform. And it's not only, as again Dr. Chitra said, it is not the drug alone is the solution, but more than that, how we can prevent and how we can really provide a better cure to the people, then we will get such a path through this needed people.
So a student who is entering in the year 2026 will graduate in 2030. So he's asking what will be the flavor he'll be adding. So as per Madam told, the new PCI regulation is going to add some on computational technologies, artificial intelligence, and regulation, new regulation changes, revised schedule. So all those things is going to add to the existing syllabus, and the student might come out with all those acquired skills, and he'll be ready to face the industry. Thank you.
I may add my thoughts. I still believe that it's a strong foundation, scientific curiosity, building your soft skills, which include good communication and constantly reading and being able to understand topics, and then networking. These four things will put you in good stand 2030, 2040, or 2050. So build on this core foundation, and then I think you are there to conquer the world, right? There are plenty of opportunities.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, doctors. That brings to the end of our discussion. Thank you to all our speakers for sharing their time and insights. Thanks to our audience too for joining and engaging with us. We still have questions coming up, but we'll have, due to time constraints, we'll have to end our discussion now. Thank you so much, doctors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, the SRM and the Hindu.
Thank you.
for
Thank you
arranging
for
this
the
platform.
organization.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, and
Thank
for
you.
Hindu for
And
arranging this wonderful conversation. Thank you. Thank you.
thank you, fellow panelists.
Thank
The pleasure is mine. It's good interaction with you people. Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you, Dr.
Thank you.
Vincent,
Thank
sir.
you,
Thank you,
Adira
Dr.
also.
Vasan, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Dr. Vincent.